Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little man.
The fall. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
Here, and that is former U.S. Attorney Jessie Liu has now officially resigned from the Treasury Department after President Trump withdrew her nomination as a top Treasury official. I believe she was going to be the Undersecretary for Terrorism. First of all, let me get your reaction to that breaking news that you had somebody like Jessie Liu, who was a U.S. attorney involved in the investigation of Roger Stone, or at least oversaw that investigation, that trial, and is now resigning after her nomination has been withdrawn from the president.
Jeez.
Yeah, Eamon, there is a principle among attorneys, and it's part of the ethics when an attorney is sworn in, called noisy withdrawal. And we are witnessing that in real time now. Noisy withdrawal is the principle that if you are an attorney, you actually are an officer of the court. It's not really... It doesn't seem like that to many. You think the officers of the court are the judge, the bailiff, and so forth. But an attorney has an oath to the law and to the court itself. And if they have a client that is engaged in wrongdoing, that is when you see a withdrawal and a public notice of withdrawal. Typically, you see that for a defense attorney, right? Their client is going to continue to engage in a crime or wants to commit a fraud upon the court. You rarely see it among prosecutors. That is why we are living in this really historical moment with these withdrawals. The interesting thing about Ms. Liu's withdrawal is she is now free to speak.
Yay.
And if she knows of direct communication that Barr perhaps had with staff at DOJ or with her, she can now testify to all of that, and the White House would have a hard time blocking it.
Oh, my God. So that makes five. That makes 5 U.S. attorneys. That makes 5 prosecutors that have resigned because they feel that they would be representing an administration that is perpetuating frauds on the court. Frauds on the court, and they can't do it and continue to uphold their ethics oaths. Oh my God, this is how democracy dies. This is, this is what democracy looks like when it dies. When it dies. This is amazing, his attack, his look, he has done it in his own cabinet. He gutted it. He made everybody acting so no one would have to be Senate confirmed, right? He did it at the State Department, gutting the State Department of career officials so that Pompeo can rule the roost in whatever disgusting smear way he wants to, like Marie Yovanovitch had to go. I mean, he fired Gordon Sondland from his EU ambassadorship post because... And Gordon Sondland gave him $1 million. $1 million. But, that doesn't matter. What matters is, are you sufficiently loyal under oath? Will you lie for me? Will you perpetuate a fraud on Congress? Would you perpetuate a fraud on the court? Will you lie under oath like Roger Stone did? Will you tamper with witnesses like Roger Stone did? Will you threaten judges and put their face in the crosshairs of a gun like Roger Stone did? Because I will defend Roger Stone, but I will not defend people who are on the right side of the law, people who literally have to resign in order to ring the bell, and let you know that a fraud is being perpetrated by the commander-in-chief. This is why Vindman resigned. Even John Kelly. Who really cares about what John Kelly says? I don't. He's a piece of dung. So is John Bolton. Because where were they when their moment was a moment? Where were they when they could have made a difference in the impeachment trial, which wasn't a trial, it was a sham? No witnesses, not a trial. No trial, no acquittal. It was just a dismissal. It was just, we don't want to hear it, la, 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 we can't hear you. That's what that was. But this man, so John Kelly comes forward today. Well, yesterday, he went and gave I don't even know if it was paid. I have no idea, but, I could just imagine. He gave a 45-minute lecture from John Kelly. Really? This is a man who defended Rob Porter, who was beating both his wives. And both his wives photographed their black eyes. One of his wives, he threw through a plate glass shower door. I mean, give me a break. And this is who Kelly defends. This is who he chose to defend. So I don't care what John Kelly says. But I will tell you, Donald Trump does. Donald Trump does. He gave a 45-minute lecture yesterday at Drew University. I don't know, some lecture. And he said that Lieutenant Colonel Vindman did the right thing. He was given an illegal order. And the illegal order was to stay quiet about the extortion that he heard on the call to Ukraine with President Zelensky. And that it was illegal for him to stay quiet. And so he would not obey an illegal order. And he defends him. He said that Gallagher, the war criminal, who was pardoned by Donald Trump, who was turned in by his own platoon, who under oath in sworn deposition said that man was dangerous, that man was toxic, that man was evil. And he was killing civilians for no apparent reason and tweeting out photos of dead teenagers and himself. So Trump pardons him. Kelly said Gallagher is like the worst of us. He doesn't represent the military. This is something that should never be accepted in the military. He said North Korea and Kim Jong-un played Donald Trump, played him. For a good long while, he played him with these love letters, okay? And he also said the media is not the enemy of the people. In fact, a free press is necessary for self-governance, and that if you only watch Fox News, I swear to God, if you only watch Fox News, you are not an informed citizen. Wow. Where were you when Portman was beating his wives? Where was that, John Kelly? That's why I don't give a damn about John Kelly, and I don't give a damn about John Bolton. But I will tell you this. I don't see any movement on John Bolton's book being released. I just don't. Because this is a revenge president. This is a president who persecutes his political enemies with the full power of the presidency, which makes us a freaking banana republic. That is what happens in banana republics. So now I'm wondering, what do you do? What do you do if you work in the Justice Department? Well, apparently you need to resign, but everybody is grappling with, should we stay on the inside so that we can control all this? Or should we go on the outside so we're free to speak? Do we ruin our careers in the U.S. Attorney's Office and go private sector where we can make a lot of money? Or do we stay inside and serve the country that way by, trying to alert the Congress because this man is breaking the law left and right and right and left? I mean, this is just, wow, this is the conversation that we are literally having in our country.
It's insane that I'm asking the question, but we're here.
Yeah.
What do you do if you're at Justice?
One way to do it is just keep your head down and do your job. But if you're seeing things that are really wrong, you can do what a lot of whistleblowers did at EPA that put the skids under Scott Pruitt, who was trying to corrupt that organization.
Oh, right.
And we got rid of him based on a lot of whistleblower information that came into our committee. I think you see over under Pompeo at the State Department a lot of brewing rebellion and resentment at the way the State Department is being broken, so that Trump's political work can be done by Secretary Pompeo. And here at the Justice Department, which should never be this way, we're seeing a lot of the firewalls that protect prosecutions from political influence from being completely overridden by this administration. And when it gets to the point where you're through the protections about political influence, you're through the relative independence of U.S. attorneys, and you're all the way to career staff turning in their badges because they're so offended by what they see going around them. That's a really loud alarm bell that America should attend to.
I am the chosen one.
This is freaking frightening. This man is filled with rage and fixated on exacting revenge using the full powers of the office of the president. This is mass madness. Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.